All right, welcome back to Roundtail Restoration, everybody. My name's Chris. Behind me here, you see my 1966 Triumph Spitfire. It's been a while since I've had a video. I did take her out on Monday last and started giving me some problems. Bucking and shaking and sputtering. Pretty sure I've got an ignition problem. Right, you need three things for the engine run: spark, fuel, and compression. Pretty sure I'm going to be okay on fuel. No, I'm okay on compression. Unfortunately, I think I've got an ignition problem, so I'm going to be troubleshooting that today. Also, a week and a day from today is my local British car show at Harkness State Park in southeastern Connecticut, right on the water. Beautiful show, usually 300, 350, maybe even 400 cars. I kind of expect it to be a pretty halfway decent turnout this year. I do intend to get Dorothy out there. This will be her inaugural showing, I guess you could say. So I need to make sure that she's good, ready to go, get her cleaned up. That'll be next weekend on Saturday. And we'll see how she does. But first, I got to take care of this ignition problem, or I'm not getting over the Gold Star Bridge. Thanks for watching.
All right.
So like I said, I have the ignition problem, and what I think it is inside the distributor here. So you just pull those two little clips back, pull the distributor cap off. Now what I think is I've got a problem with my points or the condenser. I just ordered a tune-up kit from Roadster Factory, so I should be getting new stuff for that here soon. But I'm going to essentially take this all apart, take it out, and check it and see if I can't see anything messed up with the points or anything like that, and see do some inspections here. All right, so all I'm doing there is just checking continuity throughout the inside of the distributor where I should have ground. Just looking for wires that should be connected, that they are connected. All right, so now what I'll do, I'm just going to go in and pull the condenser out and point out, inspect some stuff, and see what I can find, if anything. All right, got the assembly out here. I'm going to take it over to the bench, get the ohm meter, hook some stuff up, see if I can't figure anything out. So I got the rotor, points, condenser here. I'm going to take some resistance checks, check some stuff out. Now I'm not going to clean anything yet because I want to see it before I've touched it to see if there's any problems now. So all the condenser is really is a capacitor. It just helps protect the points and increase the life of the points. So like a capacitor, when you take it'll charge and discharge. When you take a resistance check, you're essentially sending current through whatever you're measuring resistance on, and that's what provides your resistance. So as I apply and check resistance on this, you should see the ohm meter slowly kind of increase. So the positive lead's going to go to the wire, and the negative lead's going to go to the case itself. And that charged up pretty quick, actually, quicker than I could see. And now when I check it again, it's going to remain overloaded. So this condenser is essentially fully charged. Swap my leads and I should discharge it. And you can see it discharge pretty quick. So I would say this condenser, while that's fast, I would say this condenser is no problem. That's fine. The other thing you can see, at least I hope you can, there's you really can't very well. There is some schmata on the rotor here, but it's not pitted. It doesn't really all look that bad, and you can see there's some right there. So I'm just going to clean that stuff up, but I don't expect any problems there. I'll take a resistance check here between that black dot and here. And yeah, I'm getting 0 ohms there pretty easily. No, maybe not. Hold on. Yeah, I got 0 ohms there. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean that up. Got some 600 grit sandpaper. Just something light. You can use like a scuff pad or something like that too if you want. All right, so that's cleaned up. I couldn't get all this carbon that's on there, which doesn't really concern me at all. Like I said, I think this is just fine. Now the points. So the points themselves and have contact right there. You can see that there's some stuff going on there, and on the other side there's a halfway decent pit on that. But again, I don't think this is indicative of a problem, but I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. For this, I'm going to use a file. I have like a really small jeweler's file and use the compression from the spring and let that kind of pinch this file in there and run it through. All right, so I got them cleaned up. Not much of anything really. So I'll go ahead and put it all together, but now that I've broken everything apart, now I'm gonna have to worry about setting the timing. Unfortunately, I can't give you a real good angle here, but essentially everything gets screwed back down, and then this screw here is your adjustment screw. Rotate the motor. If you could kind of see this lobe is almost squared off, and at the high point, that's where it's going to push open the points, and that's where your spark is going to fire and fire that particular cylinder. So what I did is rotated the engine by hand until I'm sitting on one of those high points, and now you measure the gap between the points here, and it should be 0.14 to 0.016 inches, and I've got a 0.015 feeler gauge here, so I'm putting it in there, and that's way too loose. But essentially you just feel it out and then loosen that screw, and then you could push the whole points a little closer together. Give myself a little bit of drag. Feels good there. Tighten it up. So those gaps should be set. What I'm going to do now is just rotate the motor just to move it around a little bit, and then make sure it's not gonna fire. Obviously I've got the everything disconnected here. I'll still disconnect the coil, and then we'll go ahead and rotate it a couple times just to get it around here, and then make sure the ignition switch is off. I should be able to just rotate it here. Make sure nothing's in my way. That's the wrench that I used to rotate the motor. Don't want that attached to the crank nut. That'd be bad. So we should be good here to rotate. All right, well now I'm shaking. All right, so obviously that wasn't cool, but I think the little push button there and the starter solenoid stuck, but same on me for having it in gear. So the points have been gapped. There should be good. Everything's kind of cleaned up in there, and we'll see now what happens with regards to getting a good run here. Go ahead and start her up, and unfortunately, it's pretty wet out today, chance of rain and everything, so I'm not going to get her outside to test her. But the remainder of the weekend doesn't look like it's going to be so bad, so hopefully I'll have a chance. Take it around the block a couple times. But for now, let's just see what happens. Well, she ain't missing now. So hopefully that was it. Like I said, I'd like to take her out for a little test drive, but the weather's not going to support. But there's a bunch of other stuff, little things. I got rattles and stuff that I'd like to take care of. So I'm happy with the way that she sits now, and I'll move on to some other things and let you know the problems I've come over in the last couple hundred miles. Another issue I had was the driver's side door window came out of the window channel. So that wasn't cool. I had problems during the restoration and finding or figuring out a good way to get the window channel to really connect and get the window to sit in there. I'm going to pull the door card off, see if I can figure out what's going on inside, see if I can re-land it somehow, get it to stay snug. You can see it's up a little bit, so it is pushing up. It's really the first time I've played with it. I've just left it in the door, so it may have been self-correcting there. I doubt it. But there's the handles obviously need to come off in the escutcheons here. So there's little pins that hold the handles in, so you just take a little press, or a little whatever these things are called, press that pin out, and then that handle will come out, the escutcheon will come out. I believe the spring, if I remember right, is behind the door card, so there's just little spring clips around the periphery. Pop those all out, and then you get the card out, and then you can see into the door. There's not a whole lot of access in there, so I don't really expect to be able to do a whole lot of good in here, but we'll at least get it off and take a look. So this is a little tricky to show you in here. My light's not that great, but the window fits down in this metal channel right here, and you can see this little flap. That's, let me roll it down a little bit. That's just some backing, like carpet backing, that you would put on your floor to stop a carpet from sliding. And I figured it would give me enough of a press fit in there to hold it. But you can see this white stuff. What that is silicone adhesive that I tried to glue that stuff to the windscreen or the window, and it wouldn't stick. So this, like I said, this has been around since I started the restoration, and I haven't been able to figure it out. But it was actually pretty easy to go ahead and fit these back in here. So I've got a grippy thing there and a grippy thing in the front to try to hold the window in there. And I think as long as I kind of press down and just am careful with it, it should work. And if nothing else, at least it's not going to be like rattling around and everything in there. So I'd consider that done. These little pins here are a real pain in the rear to get out, so you just got to be careful with that. Easy to mess up your door card. And yeah, so now you can see here this paint chipping and everything. And I'm going to see if I can rearrange this door a little bit, maybe to help me get it fit in a little bit better, but I'm not so sure that I'm going to be able to do that. We'll see. All right, well, I got the window in there, got the door card back on. Such a pain in the rear to get those little pins in for the handles. And I just used a jack and jacked up the edge of the door here. Shuts a little bit better. It's still not perfect. It's a little proud here. Not anywhere near like the passenger side is, but I think it is a little better. So not much more else. Couple little things again. Like I said, I got to go on a test drive, but not today. So we'll see what else I can get knocked out here. Well, I was able to get the car out, and it ran fine right up until it didn't. So I got it home, put some gas in it just to had some lawnmower gas. Put some gas in it because I was running a little low. I was going to take the rest of the family out for a ride, and it started chugging on me and everything like that. So this time, instead of checking the condenser and the plugs and the gaps and all that stuff, I pulled the fuel line out just as it goes into the fuel filter. And as the fuel's kind of flowing out, just due to gravity here, all these little chunkies and everything come up. So I'm pretty sure that the original fuel filter has been clogged. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me to cut it open. I wanted to check out the inside of it. I forgot it. But I had a spare fuel filter, so I was able to replace that, let the fuel flow a little bit until I got clean fuel out, and then essentially drove it right here. It's only about 6 or 8 miles away from the house, so I don't expect that the fuel filter that's in it right now is clogged at all, or if it is, it'll be minor. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the tank because it's an original tank to the black car, so obviously it's got issues. I do have a brand new tank here that came with the car way back when I bought it. It's a reproduction, and it doesn't fit real well. I think one of the bolt holes doesn't line up, and the fill spout on it, which you can just kind of barely see there, is not really aligned that well to the hole in the car. So when you put it in, the fuel filler nozzle's all crooked and everything. But at least it's not full of sediment and junk. So I obviously didn't clean it out good enough, the old tank, when I did the rebuild. So that's the plan for now. Go ahead and drain the fuel. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to do that from yet, but get the fuel drained, siphon it out or something. I got a pump around here somewhere, figure something out to get the fuel out safely and into a container, swap the tanks out, get the new tank in, and just kind of live with it, because, you know, I got a car show to go to on Sunday, and frankly, that's more important. So we'll go down that path, see how it goes. Well, not a very high-tech solution here. Just picked up a cheapo little suction siphon hose thing from Walmart's. It was a whopping like $5. And it does say it's good for gas, however, so I'm going to try to submerge this as far as I can in the tank. I got a big reservoir over here. I'm essentially just going to siphon the thing up. So. You ready? I think so. Sucky, here we come. I'll empty that thing in about 5 minutes. All right, so I've got the fuel most of the way out. There's a little bit left. I used that Walmart siphon thing. Was an absolute waste of money. So now I got the spare tire out already. Got to get the backing board off here. You can see where it's kind of got some fungi growing there. But anyway, get this thing off. I'll see the fuel tank behind there. And then I got the hose hung up inside the tank somehow. My guess is it's hung up on the fuel sender, but the level should be well below that. So I'll get the fuel sender out, get that swapped over. Notice this leather belt here, that's original to the car, believe it or not. Leather belt to hold in the soft top frame. Love that. Could never really get this backing board to fit that well. I never really attached it on the bottom, kept tearing it up. I don't know if it was just because it wasn't cut real well. I never really thought to cut it is probably what I should have done and drill no holes. I just never got there. All right, so this is the original gas tank. As you can see, there is a couple patches here, but get the fuel sender out right here. That wire's all discolored. All right, now the fuel sender uses kind of a twist lock, so I need to grab a flathead screwdriver. You just kind of knock that around, and then it should come right out. All right, get some rags ready just in case I'm not below that level. All right, so that little hook comes out, and then the sender's right there. All right, that's all it is to the fuel sender. And there is a rubber seal in there, so you want to make sure that if you're doing this, that rubber seal's in good spot. Mine's brand new. All right, now hopefully the hose will come out. All right, so let's see if I can see how much fuel is left in there. There's a little bit. What I'll try to do is stick the pump in through here now. See what else if I can get the rest of it. Not too much. The tank is kind of oddly shaped. So it rises up in here, but this is a low point down in here, and this is all level. So, and here's the suction way down here, which you can probably not see. So I'm going to try to stick the hose down there, and that way I know that I'm pretty good on a good spot to suck. All right, so I think that's about all the gas I'm going to get out of her. So now what I want to do is go around to where the fuel filter is. I'm going to disconnect the hose down there because that's going to be a low point of the car. Get a container under that to catch the excess fuel, and try to just drain the last little bit and try to flush that line a little bit. Like I said, I didn't really see any like hard chunkies, but there's definitely some stuff in there. And then I should be able to disconnect the plug at the bottom, and it should be in and out. So we think. Oops. All right, so that's cool. No fuel there. Cover that guy up. All right, so now I got to get at the drain or the fill spout and everything, get those screws out of there. That's a real pain in the rear. Now that I think about it, I got to get to it from the other side, from the passenger compartment. So I kind of forgot about that, but I'll get over there and get that ready to go and I'll show you. So not a real great angle in here and everything, but you got to pull the backboard off, and then you've got pipe clamp down here that connects to the tank, and then a pipe clamp that connects to the fill door. So I'll loosen up the top one, pull the fill door out, and then loosen up the bottom one, and that one gets a little tricky because it's just tricky. So not real good camera shooting angles here or anything, so I'm not going to film this, but you know, you would figure it out and curse it a couple times while doing it. All right, got the cap out. There's 5 bolts in here. It looks like they're 1/2 inch. So 3 across the top, 2 across the bottom in each corner. And again, you got that big heavy black hose that's still on there. So I think if I remember right, just got to kind of finagle it out of there. Yep, so it kind of will start to fall out. Now, got to remember, if I was smart enough, would have gotten a cap bung plug, but I wasn't. So hopefully this doesn't leak all over the place. Stick my finger under here. There we go. All right, essentially, you know, one of those things, just gotta kind of hold your mouth, right? As a matter of opportunity here, this is the cap for the leaf spring, the opposed leaf spring. I'm going to pull this off, take a look under there, just check for tightness and stuff like that, just to make sure that stuff is good under there. Just a suspension piece check, just so, you know, it gives me a bit of confidence. All right, so I got the fuel sender in, got the filler neck on, the rubber piece. And essentially the installation is the reverse of the removal, not a whole lot to it. So we'll get this guy in here. I can remember how to do it. Oh, it went in a lot easier when it came out. And I have these heavy foam felt pads here that you can see like the pinch marks in them. And I'm not sure how much it helps, but try to fit them under there. Try to prevent some rattles, but it's real painful getting them in there. All right, in hindsight, I might have taken my chances with the fuel line there because the olive nut gets compressed. So unless it's really close, as far as how far the olive nut needs to go up before it makes contact with the bottom of the fitting, I may have wasted my time there and not put a new olive nut on. So unfortunately, we're not going to know until I put gas in it. All right, get the wires connected. Get some new tape that up. All right, so you got that big funnel here. Been dumping gas in. I'm just off the E. I don't see any leaks yet. Going to continue to fill and try to get all the gas back in. I'm not real worried about the quality of this gas. As far as the sediment, it should have settled out in these cans by now, so I'm just pouring really slow. And then I still will flush the line at the fuel filter right before it gets to the fuel filter. I'll flush the line up there, and then call it good. Yeah, remember that pipe I said I probably should have replaced the olive nut on? Yeah, I should have. All right, so go in, pull that nut out. Already got a new plug and olive nut. I can reuse the existing plug. Got to cut the pipe back a little bit. All right, well, sometimes things just don't work. So, got a little test piece here. And the olive nut's obviously supposed to bottom out in the bottom of the tank. And I can shove that thing in all day. See that? So there's no place for that to sit, which means this tank is not going to work, which means I got to attempt to clean the other tank up. All right, so here's the deal. This is what was screwed into the bottom of the tank. You got a little slightly larger end, and then this smaller end here. This would take, both of them actually would take a, well, maybe not this one, now that I think about it. This side would take a olive nut. This side just screws in. So what I can do is screw this side in, the larger side, do an olive nut to the metal pipe like that, and compress it. The thing I'm worried about is that I'm not going to find a nut that's going to be able to compress it really well. The other option is to have something just like this with a barbed end, but I don't have one small enough. So this threaded portion is the correct size, but this guy's too big for the fuel pipe that I have, the rubber hose that I have, that'll also fit the metal pipe. So my intention is to go ahead and find one of these barb fittings here that is not focusing and plug that into the bottom of the tank, and then run a quick little transition pipe or a transition hose between the barbed end that's going to be clamped and the pipe itself. What that will allow me to do is not like overcommit, because I don't want, in the long run, I don't want to use this tank. I'd like to clean up that other tank over there and get it usable and get it freshened up on the inside. Like I had mentioned, I think POR makes a good tank refresh, but unfortunately that's not going to happen tonight. So it is Wednesday and the car show is on Sunday, so I have time, but I really wanted to come through this tonight, but that's not gonna happen. So signing off for now, and hopefully the next time I see you, which will be in half a second, I'll have a solution. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So the gas tank originally had a male-to-male union here, and it went for the smaller threading that was in this nut and to the larger threading into the tank, and that had one side of it would take a olive nut. So essentially all I did is go out to my local True Value, buy an olive nut and this little cap screw here, and put it in. Gas is back in it. It's all filled up. No leaky, so that's good. I'm going to get it running here in a little bit just to kind of get the fuel all through the system. I cut open the fuel filter, and I was kind of looking for, frankly, a little bit worse than what I'm seeing here. There is stuff in the bottom of the fuel filter. You can see that, all that rust and stuff. But I was, like I said, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more obvious clogging than what I'm seeing here. So I don't know, it just makes me nervous. Maybe it's not the smoking gun I was looking for, but it's definitely not compression. I've taken care of the points, and now I should have been able to take care of the fuel. So I'm hoping that something just kind of clogged it up intermittently, and we'll go for there. But it's got a fresh fuel filter on there. It lasted me 375 miles or so. So hopefully this next one will at least get me to the car show and back. So we'll go ahead, get it running here, and that's pretty much it. All right, got the check for leaks. So I had a little one back where the transition's coming out from the bottom of the tank into the bottom of the car, just from moving it around. I think I loosened it up, so that's tight, not leaking. I primed the fuel pump as good as I could, so it should be okay. So I expected it to be a little hard to start just because I drained a lot of fuel, but we'll see. Knock the gear, parking brake on. It's not. All right, well, I mean, obviously it's done this once before for me and run well, so we'll see. And but for now, I think we're okay. All right, everybody, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below, tell me what you think. Well, I think she's ready to go. I'm driving her around a little bit tomorrow, try to stretch her legs a little bit, see if I can get any repeat performances of the chugging and the skipping and missing. If I do, I'm probably going to ixnay the car show. I don't want to take the chance of getting stuck somewhere that I don't want to get stuck. The car show is Sunday, so tomorrow will be wash, wax, drive, clean, all that kind of stuff. And then Sunday, hopefully she'll make her debut on the Harkness State Memorial Park. So that's the plan anyway. And again, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.